Welcome to episode number 7 of Find Your Success. My name is Dustin Duenas, and we're back. We're back at an amazing location, a place that I hadn't been yet, but we're at Il Chino with Ricky Silva. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, welcome. Welcome. We've heard amazing things about you and the services that you provide, and it's good to finally put a face to the name.
Well, appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
So where are you from?
Originally born and raised here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I was actually born on the Air Force Base, so I'm kind of a military brat. And yeah, been here my whole life.
In your whole life, so Albuquerque born and raised.
Yes, sir. I'm as local as it gets.
Good. I like to hear that. Would you prefer it any other way?
Coming to where I'm at right now, no. I think it's what made me, and it's a big part of what got me my success right now.
Yeah, I love that and have a lot of respect for that because this is our home.
Yeah.
This is where we're from. A lot of people like to talk down on Albuquerque or New Mexico, but they miss the bright side maybe because of their perspective.
Yeah, the bright side and the underside. I think anybody who lives here and makes it here, you have to be a hustler and a grinder. It's just part of the everyday life.
Yeah, it's part of the culture.
Yeah, part of the culture for sure.
And I like that hardworking. And that's one of the reasons we got you here on the show is because we've heard that you're a hard worker, and we've got Jonathan behind the scenes.
Yeah. Who's
a hard worker, and I'm glad that he connected us. But and I'm not going to call myself necessarily a hard worker, but I hope other people would call me that.
Well, if you're here and you're doing your thing, man, you're a hard worker.
Yeah.
Anybody who tells me they're a hard worker, it's just like, okay.
Yeah, that's
standard.
Yeah. Let's actually see it in action.
Of course.
So what do you do here with the business?
So here we are a local macro-based meal prep company. Nothing really new to the landscape, but we brought a lot of new ideas, new concepts, and kind of changed the game. A big part of what I do and I concentrate on with the meal preps is just with flavor, mixing it up and having a variety. A lot of old meal prep and even new meal prep places have like a set menu, for example. Same thing. Every week you go in, yeah, they have a lot of selection, but you're going to be able to pick from the same 15 things every week. Every week we change our menu completely. So it's a whole new run of menu items, different recipes, different types of cultural recipes, Italian, Mexican, Asian, fusion, all kinds of different stuff.
That's fun.
Yeah.
That's fun.
And that's definitely one of the things that our customer base loves about us is just the variety of things that we offer. Because the biggest thing with meal prep and just eating clean is if you're eating the same thing all the time, you will get tired of it. There are those like robots or androids or whatever you want to call them out there. I'm doing it right now, so I know how it is. But every day I want tacos and burritos more.
Yeah.
As opposed to, when you're eating a variety of different things, it almost tricks your mind. Like, oh, I'm not eating clean. I'm eating this week. I'm eating this week.
You look forward to it.
Yeah, you look forward to it more. It's definitely a lot harder to do, but it's a benefit of our service for sure.
Yeah, and that explains why a lot of people don't offer it is because it must be harder.
Yeah.
I mean, the creativity behind coming up with a new menu.
Yeah.
And the experience that it takes to pull that off.
Well, I think one of the biggest things is people who do meal prep companies / restaurants, they typically come from the background of a bodybuilder or somebody in the fitness industry. Not to knock on those guys, they really know their stuff. I know my stuff too. I actually worked hand in hand with dietitians and nutritionists. That's how I learned everything that I know. But also I know how to cook. So I brought the culinary side to it, which is what definitely changed it. It's good.
Where did you get your cooking experience?
Everywhere. Just like we were talking about Albuquerque, man. One of the main jobs that I had before I entered corporate America, like on the retail side, was just in kitchens. I've cooked in everything from short order, fast food, fine dining, cuisine. I've been a sous chef. I've learned a lot through the years, and it's weird because I had probably a good 10 to 15 year break in between all that experience in corporate America. But the thing about corporate America is I learned the business side of things, how to actually run a business. I had no idea when I was doing it, but it was almost like a hands-on college for business.
Yeah.
So
what were you doing in corporate America?
I started in service, like a lot of people, entry level, but I learned a really good service acumen from A to Z, just service. From there, of course, management, running a team, running routes. So I learned a lot of logistical things for things like delivery, which is how we started. And then, of course, leading in general opens a lot of doors. And right before I left, I was in sales, and I was one of the most successful salespeople in that company. And once you learn sales, to me, it's just game over. Sales, and then I was a market development rep, so it was also a huge marketing edge. A lot of people don't know that about me. I know a lot of people here locally write me off as just some cholo who owns a business, but that's not the case. I like it though. I like being underestimated.
The underdog.
It's nice.
What a fun experience I think it's fun to be able to be looked at a certain way and then to show people what's up.
Well, yeah, because they can't figure out what you're doing to get to the point of success where you're at. And it's like, just ask them. That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you everything. You got no secret.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. That's really cool to hear that a life experience. Sounds like maybe you didn't necessarily plan for it to lead here, but all of your life experience, you could look back on and realize that you had something to offer to the world that has turned out to be desired.
Yeah, and that's definitely a thing. I mean, I won't go too far into it. I'm from Albuquerque, so it's expected. I've been on the other side of things. I have plenty of friends that are locked up or have been locked up, that are dead, whatever it is. And that between that and having my kids definitely changed me in the right direction. I'm grateful for it all the time because I look at it and I have friends. I also have friends that have brought themselves out of that hole too. You know, I have one of the fighters that I worked with from day one, because I sponsor a lot of fighters. His name's Freddie Sandoval. We both kind of traveled the same paths, went our own way. He actually did some time, but when he got out was right at the same time that I started the company, and he was a main factor in getting me to where I'm at. And he's also risen up at the same time. He stayed out of trouble, and we both kind of keep each other in check. We're like each other's like accountability.
Yeah.
You know.
How important is that to have a brother in life to go through accountability with?
If it's not a friend, a brother, or any other family member, my kids keep me in check all the time because I'm not a perfect person, of course. You know, I stray away every now and then they're always there to remind me, or he's always there to remind me. Other family members, I think if you don't have that, it's a lot more likely that you don't succeed in life.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Once you start going off the path of them, no one's there to remind you about reality, about the path you should be on.
Yeah.
Sometimes we get it twisted. Sometimes we think we should be going down a different path.
Yeah.
It's really not the one that we should be on.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What inspired you to start this business? Ultimately, like what made you say yes to pulling this off?
So I've always loved food. I've always loved cooking. But that definitely wasn't the only inspiration. To be honest, like I talked about corporate America, and I touched on it, but I was burnt out. I was tired of working for these huge corporations and working for, 6 different bosses that all would tell me the same thing. Like I love this movie called Office Space, because in the movie, like the guy is constantly getting handed reports, asked about the same thing all day. He goes crazy. That was me. Like I was Office Space in whatever position I was. And it got to the point where it became easy to be successful in that. But when it's easy to be successful, it's not the same. Like the thing about this is it's hard every day. And sometimes I don't like it. But for the most part, I'm like, it's cool because I'm doing it for myself. I'm doing it for my employees. I'm doing it for my family. And it's all going directly to them. So I would say that was a big driving factor. But then also when I figured out I was actually good at something, and I could make money for it and make a living off of it, I definitely wanted to go for it.
And how long have you been open now?
We've been open and operational this will be our 4th year. We've only been in our building for a year now. Wow. So we started out just mobile, home delivery only, or business delivery. From there, we went to grab-and-go locations, which is just setting up fridges at different gyms throughout the city.
And this is while COVID's going on, right?
While COVID's going on, yes. While COVID was going on, we were one of the only businesses running. As far as food goes and delivery goes, contactless delivery was a thing, so it was easy for us. That's what we already did. We drop off your meals, sometimes in an insulated cooler bag, send you a message, you got your stuff. So we kept running the whole time. We never stopped running during the whole pandemic. Some people look at that differently, but I look at it as I had to do what I had to do and keep this thing going. Otherwise, it would have never made it out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
We were talking before we started recording about how difficult that was.
Yeah. Pretty much started out as, I would say, like a 3-person operation. My partner, Jackie, she also was a huge part of it. She was there with me from the very beginning. She's the one responsible for the whole dessert snack division. But also in the background, we would have never been here if she wasn't there helping me. So start out with me and her, and then we would add in a couple of family members or friends every now and then. But as far as like deliveries, for example, I was doing it all myself. There was a time, it was a Sunday when I delivered from about 8 in the morning till about 11:30 at night. I think it was over 170 deliveries that I knocked out.
170 deliveries? How do you map that out?
Logistics. I learned it in the corporation. So
I mean, is there software for small businesses to
you can
help
use
handle
Google. A lot of people don't know you can actually map out stuff in Google pretty well. And it's one of the most accurate ones. And it'll actually route it for you. But to be honest, I routed them myself just by sector.
Add in 170 stops?
Yeah. Basically, I would break it up into like, okay, this, I have, 50 in the Northwest, 50 in the Southwest, and just do the different sectors and run them back out and forth.
A gas station in between?
Of course, gas station in between. And then that's when meal prep comes in handy because I always had food ready to go in a tray. So I never had to stop and eat, just use the bathroom most of the time.
That's one advantage for sure.
Definitely.
Dang, so that was one of your longest days.
That was one of my longest days. And yeah, from there, it just, it grew. Like that was a day, for example, when I realized, man, I thought I had enough people. I need more people. So I started adding like delivery drivers, adding more people to cook, adding more people to prep. And it just kind of just leveled up from there.
Did you feel successful at that time? Because you mentioned having, 170 deliveries in a day, which sounds really impressive.
Yeah.
And my take on it is that you probably did feel like you achieved something with 170 customers, but with that level of work, how did it actually feel in the moment? Were you like, what, like...
It's one of the big things that kept me going, and it wasn't how much volume I had. It was people telling me like, dude, like my buddy Freddie, for example, like, you delivered how much? And then he's a money guy. So he's like, yeah, you delivered that much. And I'm like, yeah. But dude, like I haven't slept. And of course, like people always say like the sleepless nights, I had those too. I remember one of our first years we ran a promo. I used to have a location right up the street, closer to Central. And it was my only pickup location. We ran a sale for the beginning of the year and I didn't have enough room. I had to actually add fridges and freezers to the location and still had to do multiple pickup times for people because it was so much stuff.
Really?
And that was an example of growth too, when you realize like, man, like I need more of these pickup locations. And then from there, it went from pickup locations to retail grab and go locations where we stock meals for people to buy just 1 or 2 meals at a time. And yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, what a journey it's been.
Hell of a journey.
So speaking of growth, what's your definition of success now?
I'd say my definition of success is just, when I used to wake up working for a job, I was typically miserable. I didn't want to go, but I had to go because I was on a schedule. My average day, I have a schedule, but it's my schedule.
Yeah.
To me, that's one thing that signifies that I'm successful because I came from that world to literally working every day. The other thing that we didn't talk about is about a year ago, this same time, I was in the hospital with heart failure.
Really?
And now it's not something that I put out there.
Man.
I didn't post it to my social media. I didn't even tell a lot of my friends right away. A big part of it was because I was embarrassed, but they told me like, basically it was a combination of my age and I was just running the engine too hard. Bad diet, because I fell into, like I said, we don't always check ourselves. I fell into just not eating right, not eating all the time. And then we were getting this location ready at the same time.
You're stressed.
Running. Yeah, I was just super stressed, super high strung, not taking care of myself, not eating right, not hitting my workouts. I was doing the opposite of the lifestyle that I was trying to push.
Yeah, interesting.
But it was a reality check because it made me realize, like, 1, I'm not in my 20s anymore. And 2, like, even if I was, you can't do that and expect to do it very long. It's like running a car engine too long. It's just going to blow up eventually. So
yeah, basically
my heart was about 18% function. Yeah, I mean, that's not good. You're not really ever supposed to get below about 30.
Anything less than 100 to me sounds pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And even now, I still don't have 100% function.
Yeah, it's
getting there, but it'll get there. And it's doing a lot better than it was.
Well, congratulations, man. That's a big deal. That's got to be life-changing stuff.
But
not
as far as like success to that, I've turned that around. I'm definitely not like a little guy, but I'm not.
Yeah, you got some muscle on you.
I'm not built the same. Well, I mean, I'm not a fat guy anymore. I'm just a big guy. So, but I feel good every day. I don't have any heart issues like I did. It's definitely, the percentage has gone up. So that's been a successful thing for this year.
Yeah.
Aside from the business is just my overall physical and mental health.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
I love that. Seriously, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a huge deal. Not only with the business, but with your personal health, because there's people all around, it sounds like, who are depending on you to be you, and that I think we're all designed to be able to carry that load efficiently.
Yeah.
Right? I believe God puts us here with the tools and to lean on Him to follow through with those certain types of things.
Yep. And that was definitely a reality check from him too.
Yeah.
And it goes to show, like, at that time, I thought I was successful just running it, and concentrating fully and wholly. I mean, for 2 years, I missed family events, birthdays, sporting events. Like, I didn't do anything. Everything was just a business. But one thing it taught me is you have to prioritize, and you have to kind of like mitigate things and spread them out, because if you don't, and then of course the number one thing is if you can't run, you can't do anything. I was stuck in the hospital for 5 days, and we were supposed to be moving into this location.
Man, well, there's a famous quote. I don't know who it's by, but it's something along the lines of, a healthy man has 1,000 dreams, but an unhealthy man has only one dream, and that's their health.
Yep.
Right, to have their health back. So that's awesome to see that you're getting healthy again, that you're feeling good, that you're here for the family. And when it comes to our definitions of success, society teaches us that we should always pursue more of anything. But oftentimes it's money, right?
Yeah.
If you want to be more successful, you need more money. That seems to be the go-to one.
Yeah.
In some ways that's fair, but sometimes we forget that what actually we should be doing is getting closer to what's most important, aka getting closer to those, the sporting events with the kids, or spending time with family, the vacations, or whatever it is that's important to you. Your personal preference is cool, but getting closer to that, not just chasing more money or more whatever. Those things help, but sometimes it takes us farther away. And in that case, sounds like maybe it did for a little while.
Exactly. I sat in the hospital for 5 days, and aside from complaining and telling them to let me go, in between, all I was thinking about was like, man, like, I wish I would have spent some more time with my daughters. Like, I wish I would have gone to this thing. I wish I would have taken a vacation. And like, I'm sitting in the hospital, and I'm like, yeah, I got to where I was at that point by doing what I did, but also like I could have still probably gotten there. It just might have taken a little bit longer. And that's one of my things now, is like, I'm not always rushing to that finish line and neglecting everything else now. Now I slow down and I enjoy the little things. I go do stuff, which is great too, because it's a great way to, wind down, not be so high strung and stressed anymore. And a great way to just, I forgot for about 2 years how to enjoy life, honestly. And yeah, I was successful, and yeah, we were really growing and stuff like that, but I saw what happened. So
there's so many gurus nowadays that teach there's only one way to be successful, and you got to grind super hard until the wheels fall off, kind of thing. And that's just not.
Yeah, I laugh at those, like, sleep.
Silly.
You don't need sleep.
Yes,
You do need sleep.
Yeah, I think that's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I think that's wild that there's so many people out there that teach that kind of stuff, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's fun to live by example, and I'm glad that you're living by example, showing that it's possible to spend your time with your daughters and to operate a functioning business, a business that's kicking ass.
Yeah.
To enjoy your family and friends and to do cool stuff. It's awesome. And what a great example that this city needs.
Yes, definitely. And that's one of the big things. Like, you won't really ever see me posting a lot of stuff that I do on social media, because we just do it because we do it. But we're huge on community. Like, that's why I mainly work with local gyms and other local businesses. I try to keep it that way. I was kind of like already like that before I owned a business, but now that I actually own a business as a local small business, like, it's huge. Like, they're people like us. They live like us. They have kids like us. They have responsibilities and bills like us. So when you think about that, like, why am I going to give any type of networking money, anything, to somebody else when there's somebody that actually from here, from, my home and everything, and they have that opportunity, I'm going to give it to them. So
people here that are making a difference.
Of course. And that's what we need more of.
Yeah. This country needs a lot of help in a lot of ways, but we've seen it here in our own community that there's people who need help. Yeah. We often need help. We need more brotherhood and connection and community. It only helps. I can't name a single time where a good community hurt me.
Yeah.
Really. Like it's generally a pretty darn good thing to have, and it can be hard to find.
And just to touch on that, like I agree with you 100%. But just as an example, like this country, yes, the world, yes. But how about you start here?
Yeah.
And don't be such an a-hole
Just be where your
to
feet
your
are.
brothers and sisters that are right here, you know? Like don't go posting something on Facebook about something that's not even happening here and then just be a dick here.
That's also weird to me that people like to
but it's
talk.
a whole thing.
People like to talk a big talk, but then they won't even treat their neighbor nice. And
Exactly.
it's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right? You're not aligning. Your actions aren't aligning with these values you're talking about. So why don't you just start here and actually making an impact instead of just talking about it or posting it on social media?
Definitely.
I love that. I think you're making a pretty significant impact here by actually being where your feet are and taking action.
Yeah.
We need more implementers. We need people who are going to take the knowledge. We're in the era of knowledge. It's easy to find, right?
Yep.
Nowadays, you don't need to go very far to find good quality knowledge or resources, but to actually implement it or to sift through all the stuff.
Yeah.
To find the 1, 2, 3 things that are actually going to make a difference in your community.
Yeah. And that's all it takes is I guess being conscious of it.
Yeah.
And thinking about it, like we just said, and actually putting it into action. Like that's one thing a lot of people won't do. And that's a big part of success too. Like I've had probably not even schemes, but ideas for businesses years before I ever did this.
Yeah.
But I never put it into action because at the end of the day, I was comfortable. And that's a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But like, it's like that meme or that saying, I've seen it, like choose your hard, like choose your hard or choose your comfortable. Are you comfortable? Like I was comfortable, but I was miserable. Like I told you.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't realize that. And I had to get uncomfortable doing something that I had no idea. Like I've never had a business. I didn't go to actual business college. I literally learned how to do this as I was doing it. But it was fun. It was stressful. But at the end of the day, I now have knowledge to run and open other businesses if I ever want to. Like I know that.
Yeah. What a great example, though, for everyone else out there that you can just take your life experience through the ups and the downs. It's not a waste.
Yeah.
It's not a waste. Look back at the positive aspects of it and bring those tools to the forefront of what you're doing now and package them together and see who you can help.
Yeah.
And that alone, as simple as it sounds, can be something profitable.
Exactly. And I mean, if you're not learning at anything that you're doing and getting any knowledge, then what are you doing?
Yeah. You either win or you learn, right? You don't lose. The only way you lose is when you take yourself out of the game.
Exactly.
If you quit, right? If you let go of those, those lessons, and that I guess is losing. But I like the phrase that you either win or you learn.
Yeah.
When it comes to the characteristics that you've cultivated over time that have led you to success, what might those things be?
Well, we touched on hard work, of course, and hard work is to me, it's a fundamental. If you're not willing to work hard, you're never going to get to where you want. So if you don't have that, then don't even try. But I think that's applied to everything else. I think in business, you have to have a great service acumen. I learned that a long time ago, not even before jobs. And my grandma was huge on certain things and doing certain things a certain way and, using proper grammar and talking to people appropriately. And that's all service if you think about it, and a lot of people doubt service because they look at it, it's kind of low on the totem pole. But I think it's one of the biggest components in my current business. It is the service industry, of course, but there's other people that do what I do, but they don't have the same service I have. When it comes to it, to this day, my personal phone is still my business phone. You can get a hold of me anytime. If you leave me a voicemail, I'll call you back. But most of the time I've answered the phone as early as 5 a.m. and as late as, midnight. It doesn't matter to me. I pick it up. I've literally talked to drunk people at night about my service on a Saturday night. It's been some funny calls, but that's just how I am. I became like that as a service manager and the old job that I had. It sometimes will get you opportunities as well that other people miss out on. And then also as far as customer service goes, most people these days, big companies, what do they get when you call their customer service hotline? It's automated, or you have to chat to one of those online instant messages.
Then it really make you feel like a number in the system.
But when you call and a guy answers and he's like, "Hey, how can I help you?" "Oh, really? Let me take care of that." And we do. It's a huge part of what I do, taking care of anything immediately, at least within 24 hours minimum. It's taken care of. And I haven't stopped that since day one.
I gotta say that I love that you pointed out your grandma and maybe the lessons that you learned from her. we talk about this sometimes on some of the other episodes that we've done, but I've learned from my parents, my family, to hold the door open for people, or to shake their hand, a firm handshake, and look them in the eye.
Yep.
Or just when you're talking, looking them in the eye, or small things like that. Being willing to think ahead a little bit, right? If somebody's maybe cleaning up, like maybe offer to throw the trash or pick up a broom, think a little bit ahead. And not only is that valuable, but it can get you in the door.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's one of those things I feel like it's been lost over time. I still see it. And the main thing that I do is what I can do. Like, I have nieces and nephews, lots of them. I have my own girls. And the main thing, I try to pass that on, because without that, like, to me, that's also just people and social skills too. It'll get you, like I said, opportunities.
It will absolutely
doors. And then I learned that I was actually really good at it in sales. Like, when I did sales, they had actual training courses to teach people that. And I'm like,
you didn't learn this from your grandma?
You don't know this already? Like, yeah, of course you got to do that. So it was one of those eye openers. Like, and at the same time, it was like, oh man, I already got this. Like, that's the easy part, and that's the hard part for you guys. So
yeah, this generation, I believe at least, that's something that I wish they picked up on sooner than later. I think it would help, really.
Definitely.
Instead of just focusing on, hey, I have the piece of paper, give me a job.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why don't you make some friends and some relationships and utilize all the skill sets that you have, all the currencies.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Now, when it comes to success moving forward, if you don't mind sharing, what is the thing that you're moving closer to over the next 3 to 5 years?
So the next and closest goal is going to be another location. And what we want to do is kind of a different concept, but same brand, same idea. So it'll be different things that we open. And the long-term goal is to just kind of I want to be located all around the city. There's a lot of different local business entrepreneurs that kind of inspired me as well. I've been able to see what they've done, also network with them to kind of pick their brain, because that's just the type of person that I am. Even other businesses like mine, I've networked with them. And that's a big key thing, because if you don't know what other people are doing and how they got there, and you're not willing to ask questions, you're never going to figure it out yourself. There's just certain things that you can look up online, you can read books, you can listen to motivational speeches, but unless you talk to somebody here locally that grew up the same way, or is in the same area at least, that did what you're trying to do, well then you're just kind of being closed-minded to me. Like, you have to be able to do that.
I agree.
Yeah, that's the next goal. And then I already have probably 3 good other concepts besides this actual basic meal prep idea. And I already know that I have the brand now and, the marketing to push it and make it successful to where it needs to be. Because the product will be there. The service and the knowledge will be there. Once the brand is out there with it, it's not that it'll be easy, but it'll be easier than actually starting from the bottom like we did this.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I look forward to seeing where you guys go from here, because you're already all over the place.
Yeah.
I see your brand all over the place. When it comes to achieving those next milestones, are there any characteristics or things that you're looking to learn that you think will help you get there?
I think the biggest thing is going to be just ownership of my current knowledge and my skills. Being who I am, you would think I'd be like, yeah, I got this. But at the end of the day, I'm still a person like everybody else. And I still have that self-doubt every now and then. So I guess it would just be a belief in everything and just applying everything that I know and knowing that I'll be able to execute everything step by step because I've already done it.
It's probably one of my favorite answers that we've had to that question.
Yeah.
Because really what you're saying is that with your current knowledge, you have the knowledge to pull it off. Now it's a matter of knowing yourself, believing in yourself, like trusting in your life's calling, and actually taking action on it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing necessarily external that you need. It's internal.
Yeah, and I think that's a lot of people, probably everybody.
Yeah.
Of course, as people, successful entrepreneurs, I think everybody's trying to portray this guy or this woman that's like top of the positive food chain every day and wakes up every day just breathing, eating, and
Lucky Charm.
Yeah, success. But the truth is we all have that, and I think if everybody else could realize that, they could really go for whatever they want. I'm not saying everybody wants to own a business and run a business, but maybe you just want to get, that car or that truck, but you don't think it's in your reach. Everything's in your reach. You can achieve everything. You can do everything. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Like, it's possible, man. It's just a lot of people don't see it as a reality, so they don't ever apply the things that they need to apply to do. Yeah. They don't try.
Yeah. I love that. Thanks for that answer.
For sure.
And thanks for hanging out with us today.
Definitely.
Seriously, this was awesome, and I'm glad that Jonathan connected us.
Yeah.
You've been a great guest and a really cool spot to hang out. Is there anything else that you would like to throw out there? Any last tidbits or tips for people that you think might be valuable?
I say this at the end of every time I talk to somebody about this, but speaking on belief, if you really believe that you can do something and you really want to do it, just do it. Like, I started doing this while I was working 2 different jobs. I still fit this in. And that's another thing, is people think that they don't have time. You always have time. It's just, what are you willing to sacrifice? So it's just go for it. Do the sacrifices, do the things, lose some sleep, lose some stuff. If you really want it, go for it. That's my main thing.
Yeah, thank you. That's great.
For sure.
How can we help you? How can the community help you, someone who's been helping everyone else?
I mean, this helps me all in itself, but other than that, it's just spreading the word, you know?
All right.
I don't ever ask anybody to do like Google reviews. I don't ever ask anybody to do anything, the Yelp reviews or anything like that. Like, if you like it, I want it to be real. I want it to be genuine, and I want you to want to do it. So everybody that spread word and talks good about us here in the community, they really believe it. And that's all I expect, because that's the type of product and service that I put out.
Right on. Where can people find you?
Our main location is located right down here downtown, 6th and Lomas. Used to be the subway by Metro Court. And then we have different grab-and-go locations all over the city, including Rio Rancho. We're just going to be in all your local gyms, nutrition and supplement shops. We have a smoothie shop that we're in Rio Rancho. If you ever need to know, just hit me up and let you know where to go.
And how about socials?
Socials, Instagram at Chino Meals, and Facebook, Chino Meals. No TikToks or Snapchats or anything like that yet.
No TikTok dances yet?
No TikTok dances for me.
All right. Well, one day I look forward to those.
Doubt it.
All right. Well, cool. This has been episode number 7 of Find Your Success. Another amazing show. Thank you all for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed. If you loved it, share it. See you later.